The curse is broken. Death Valley remains in Baton Rouge. 604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. I hope everybody had a fantastic Labor Day. I know I did. We are ready to roll, hit the ground running on this Tuesday morning, get you ready for your day, get you to school, get you everywhere you need to get you to work and everywhere else you need to go as the morning wears on. We got a lot of ground to cover, y'all. We're talking a lot of business today, which I love. I love talking business so much more than I love talking politics. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I hate talking politics. I love talking governance and what makes the entire system run, but it's I can't get after. We had a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to check in on the west side with Anna Johnson. We're going to check in with LABI, Will Green. Rowdy Gaudet from the Metro Council is going to stop by. We're taking a visit down in New Orleans with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. And, you know what? My bad, JP. I'm looking at the rundown here.
Yeah.
Congressman Carter's a scratch.
Oh.
I know. Put Rodney Mallet right there from DOTD. Right. We'll get the latest on what's going on with the I-10 widening by the University Lakes. And honestly, I want to talk to him a little bit about the College Drive flyover. Like, how long does it take to call that an unmitigated success? Because that's exactly what it is. We, however, start off with top stories and trending. Let's cue.
Number 5.
You know what? This just popped up over at WBRZ's website, so we'll squeeze this in right here. An exciting day in Livingston Parish as French settlement drivers travel across a brand new bridge along Highway 16. Department of Transportation and Development will officially be opening the new Amy River Bridge, completing a $19.7 million replacement project that began in 2020. The old swing span bridge, which had just 15 feet of clearance, it's been shut down for 5 years. That's the long and the short of it.
Number 4.
Two local Baptist churches about 5 miles away from each other were vandalized with profane messages spray painted on the buildings late Sunday night and early Monday morning. Police have arrested 24-year-old Jimmy J. Mouton for spray painting the words, "the Son of God" and then B word, and "greedy, lying pedophiles" on the sides of the Indian Mound Baptist Church around 12:45 a.m. Monday. Earlier in the night, around 11:30 p.m. Sunday, Mouton allegedly also spray painted a similar message on the doors of the Greenwell Springs Baptist Church, which is a little bit less than 5 miles away.
Number 3.
No one was injured in a Saturday night shooting that led to an hours-long standoff, according to BRPD. Officers responded to a call of a man being shot at in the 1000 block of North 44th Street around 6:30 p.m. When police arrived, a suspect ran into a home, refused to come back out. Officers had a standoff with the suspect for several hours. He eventually came out with an AK-47. BRPD said 48-year-old Daryl Carter was taken into custody.
Number 2.
Baton Rouge police are investigating a shooting that happened near the intersection of Government Street and South Foster early Monday morning. Police say someone was shot in their car, which then ran into the sign of the Smoothie King located on Government around 3:30 this Monday morning. The victim was taken to a hospital where they passed away Monday afternoon.
Number 1.
More problems at Smitty's Supply on Monday. The EPA shared the following update, quote, "In the early afternoon of September 1st, a damaged tank at the Smitty's Supply facility site overpressurized, causing a blowout of the tank roof. No one was injured. No other damage occurred. Response crews are continuing to assess remaining tanks for pressure issues to prevent further incidents." Yeah. What you got?
Well, President Donald Trump said Monday he will award former New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor.
So, all right, if you are an anti-Trump person, you probably hate the news that Giuliani's getting the Medal of Freedom, right? But if you are an anti-Trump person, can you not rewind the clock to look at his entire body of work? I realize he went from America's mayor to like dutiful foot soldier, like loyalist to the core for Trump. But like, let's remember 9/11. Let's remember what Manhattan looked like in the early 80s versus the early 80s through the 90s. Well, he cleaned up New York. And, can you look at the whole body of work? Now, if you're total MAGA, you're all on board with this anyway. But, like, if you're not, can you look at the whole body of work to see maybe he earned that before Trump was even a mention of on a presidential level? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's whatever.
Well, the Israeli military announced over the weekend that it killed the longtime spokesperson for Hamas's armed wing.
It's never going to sit well with me that people like Hamas have PR.
I mean, right? I know. I'm trying to find the guy's name, which, I mean, I'll probably butcher the pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm not sweating it. I mean, he's gone now anyway.
He's gone. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just who is going to be the Caroline Levitt of Hamas? You know, who's going to be the Jen Psaki of Hamas?
I know. And to think, I mean, there's someone.
Someone steps up for that gig. Someone says, I want.
Oh, man. You know what? In other news, starting today, Costco will be enforcing their new shopping policy, only allowing executive members in from 9 to 10 a.m., opening up for everyone else at 10.
I thought that was the way it used to be. I saw this story yesterday, and it said, Costco customers are going to be mad. And I'm like, why? Wasn't that the way it was always supposed to be? When Sam's Club first opened, when Costco first opened, if you owned a business and you had their business level membership, their executive level members, you got in at 9 a.m. and you could open up the doors to the rest of us later on. I mean, are people really that? Is this going to be a stir? Is this going to be?
Always.
Are you going to be mad that for the first hour of Costco's opening, it's for the people who have to go in and buy like 1,000 bags of Skittles to resell at their concession stand? Like, you have to wait a little while to get, a giant tub of Jarlic. Does that anger you?
I'm sure someone out there is perturbed.
Also in the trending story, did someone win the Powerball last night, or has it rolled over?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? Let's.
I've got the story up right here. There's a whole lot of people reporting on what the winning numbers were, but nobody reporting on if it was won or not.
Oh man. This would be a good
$1.1 billion for last night's drawing.
How much?
$1.1 billion.
Ooh.
I know.
Someone's just sitting on that.
Right.
No big deal.
Stuck between seat cushions.
That's right.
They bought it at like Be Quick on airline and just left it there. How awful would that be? No, I don't. I legit don't know if anybody won it or not. That's.
I think that's the question. That's the headlines I'm seeing. Did anyone win the Powerball last night?
Okay.
So yeah, this is. Yeah, I don't know. It's yet to be. It's yet to be claimed.
All right. You know what?
Wow. As of even 22 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm refreshing the page. Yeah.
Wait, hang on. So, but the computer would know if the numbers were matched and sold. I don't think anybody won it because it's up to $1.3 billion now.
Yeah.
The estimate. I'm on the lottery's website. I'm sorry, I was doing this in real time. I'm on the lottery's website. It's up to $1.3 billion now.
I see that.
So,
yeah. Do we call out? You want to call out the winning numbers?
What, from last night?
Yeah.
Sure. 25, 23, 8, 40, 53, and the Powerball was 5.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah. 613 to talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We are going to deep dive into LSU versus Clemson for not just the next segment, but the next two segments. So in order to stay on time, let's go ahead and break it right now. We're right back next. Okay, copy down that card number. I'm sorry, I got it from you the other day, and it was on a piece of paper that I threw away.
COM 1850. COM-1850.
Okay.
So you got the live read today? Yeah.
All right. Come on. Studio. Clemson's a little what? Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay. Let me check it real quick before we come back. I appreciate it because I'm gonna go off on the whole like we're gonna ride the bus around the block thing. And I love their big ass slip and slide. Like it would have been cooler if that was a slip and slide they went down instead of an orange ramp. Will do. Appreciate it. Com 1850. Thank you.
No problem.
Well overdue for that.
These LSU highlights, are these cuts or are these just talking points?
The highlights are in your email. You get them after the game on Saturday night. You're on my list.
Oh yeah, I did get that. That's true.
Oh.
It's saying that the request cannot be completed. Try again in a little while
For what?
to download those cuts.
Go into Moose.
Oh, it's in Musos? I'll
No,
go
no,
get
no,
it.
no, no. They're already in Mooso's.
Oh, okay.
Let me get it. Shit. I should have been done well before the show. Those are two that I want.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to start with some highlights before we get over to Coach Kelly's comments after the game. LSU, of course, a 17-10 winner over Clemson on Saturday, and it was not really close. The score was close, but the game itself was dominated by LSU. And I'm pulling up the box score now. But if you break it down from any individual angle, there was no area of the game that LSU didn't win and win soundly. As maybe passing yardage was close enough to call a wash as as far as the comparison on Cade Klubnik versus Garrett Nussmeier. They each threw for 230 yards. Only thing is Nussmeier did it with like a 72% completion rate, whereas Klubnik was at 50%. And then you add 16 yards on top for Xavier Thomas for his one completion. On the run game, and LSU actually had a run game. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. On the run game, LSU had 108 rushing yards to Clemson's 31. What would the score have looked like without the two fumbles? I would ask what the score would have looked like without the missed field goal, but Clemson missed a field goal as well, so that should be a wash. And then add into the fact the touchdown that was taken away. So 17-10, your final score. Here's how it sounded when the Tigers finally officially took the lead on the scoreboard.
Second down, goal to go from the 8. This time Nussmeier back in the gun. They'll bunch 4 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Looking to throw left, and they throw to Trey-Dez Green. He's got the catch. Touchdown, LSU.
The internet went crazy with that because, if I'm not mistaken, it's not Friday Night Lights. What was the movie? Varsity Blues. That was a play from Varsity Blues with the 4 receivers on the one side and what they call it, the oop-de-oop? The 4 receivers on the one side and then the one on the other. Yeah. Anyway, just ridiculously awesome on defense throughout, up to and including the final, well, not the final play of the game, but Clemson's final attempt to get in the end zone again.
Klubnik takes the snap, drops back, now sprints to his right. Pressure comes, hit as he throws. Incomplete down at the 5-yard line. Turnover on downs. LSU football.
And that was all about Harold Perkins just wrecking stuff, which he did all night, as did most of the defense. There's so much to break down. We've got a lot of audio from Brian Kelly that's coming up in just a little bit. Right now, here's the Fox Business Report. That's a cannon? Crap, this one's me. No problem getting back out of bed after the Labor Day holiday. I-12 is, well, it's not backed up yet, but you are going to find a lot of friends and family around, friends and neighbors around on the interstate. I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. We've got your a little bit higher than normal congestion right now on 12 West around Range, and then right after the Amy River Bridge, all the way through to about, I guess almost up to Sherwood Forest before it picks back up again all the way through the split. I-10 westbound coming in from Gonzales looks good. 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge looks good. Both bridges are looking good as well. On your surface streets, my apologies. My computer is not playing nice. Normally I just type this up and act like I knew what I was doing. All right, here we go. On your surface streets, you got a couple of accidents to look out for. There's something listed as traffic enforcement. The sheriff's office is working. It's going to be North Sherwood and South Choctaw. That's causing some delays right now. You've also got an abandoned vehicle in the roadway, possibly just a stalled vehicle. Burbank at Milford. Those two incidents are being worked. And then also on your surface streets, up on Choctaw by Foster, I'm looking at some slowdowns right now, but I don't see a reason for it near Capitol Heights. And that doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, that is right. And that's basically it. That's your whole look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Before we get back into LSU and Coach Kelly's comments after the game, JP, if you could write down for me the description on the comments real quick so I can know where I'm going. Before we get back into them, shout out to Southern University. Coach Graves and his squad get their first win of the season on Saturday. They topped Mississippi Valley State 34-29. We're gonna have to await some news on Southern's quarterback, who had to come out of the game, but they didn't miss a beat within. Was it Jalen Woods? Yeah, Jalen Woods had to come out of the game. So I believe he went to the hospital. But 34-29, your final score there. Southern does pick up their first win of the season. Now they are now 1-1 on the year, and if I'm not mistaken, they will they'll come home finally to take on Alabama State this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, LSU went to Clemson. The whole battle for Death Valley thing was a joke to me. I understand that they have some kind of claim to longevity on this one, which, whatever. I don't know the ins and the outs and the actual who called what, first. At least not, publicly or whatever. My whole thing is when you look at the two stadiums, which one looks like Death Valley? Which one looks like something you would call Death Valley? Because we posted up a picture on Talk 107.3's Facebook page. Thank you, JP. We posted a picture on Talk 107.3's Facebook page of the outside of Memorial Stadium. And look, I don't mean disrespect here, but it looks like an oversized Steak and Shake. It does. It's got you get the red brick mixed with the retro metal. And you got this their tiger. I know everybody's calling it Temu Tiger. It looks like someone bought a beautiful wax sculpture of a tiger and then left it in a hot window. Oh, it does. It does.
That's terrible.
It does. And I don't understand some of these traditions. And shout out to the caller. I didn't get his name, but shout out to the caller who brought up the cannon that they fire off. I totally missed this. Apparently they fire off a cannon.
Oh.
I didn't even see it because the cannon's so dadgum small. Like they got a Fisher-Price cannon, a Temu Tiger. They play in a Steak and Shake. Their pregame, you know how we have the Tiger Walk before the game?
Right.
Like they'll get on the buses over at Ops, and then they'll drive to the Tiger Stadium and walk down in suits, looking sharp, looking ready to do business. At Clemson, they all put on their pads in one side of the stadium, and then they get on a bus and they drive around the block to the other. They drive from one side of the stadium to the other. It baffling. Hey, everybody, let's get on a bus. Where are we going? The same building we're leaving. Like it's not a thing. And then they got that orange ramp, which I would give them props if instead of walking down that ramp, they'd turn on a hose and treat it like a slip and slide. That would be a tradition worth keeping. But everything else, no. Let's go to Coach Kelly real quick. Post-game press conference. Let's start off. I want to go with 6 first because we're talking 5 straight years with the first game losses. LSU has now flipped the narrative on that.
Those narratives were never anything that we bought into as a program. We know, look, people build up the first game to a level of craziness. I mean, look at the quarterbacks, that are under incredible scrutiny. So I just think that in this business, you really have to stay focused on what your job is. And my job is to bring a football team on the road, play with great confidence and composure, and compete their tails off for 4 quarters. That's my job, and not to worry about what other people say or do. I get it, it's out there, but they didn't put me in this position to worry about those things.
Let's talk about the win over Clemson itself.
I'm so pleased for our players. They've worked so hard. Our staff, they made the plays today. And you go on the road and play a top 5 team, you have to win the game up front. And we limited them to 12 yards rushing in the second half. We had the ball for over 30-something minutes in the second half. we controlled the clock. And look, that's a formula to winning football games when you have two really good teams. And our guys cleaned up the turnovers, and we made some big plays when we needed to on defense.
So LSU will come back home, take on Louisiana Tech this coming Saturday. We got to check in with news, traffic, and weather. We'll visit with Jeff Crouere in just a little bit. Ooh, things are getting spicy in the mayor's race. People following candidates into churches with cell phone video. That's coming up in just a little bit when we check in with Jeff. Right now, they want to remind you about the folks at Vex European, VEX, Vex European. That's Vinny and his team here to take care of your European vehicle, regardless of what if you drive a European vehicle at all. Check out VexEuropean.com. You will likely see your make of vehicle on that drop-down list. If you do, go ahead and book your appointment because Vex European, they will put you with a master-level technician for your make of vehicle. It's not just some general catch-all mechanic. You're talking about a master-level technician. Some people would probably be running their own shop if they were specializing in just that one car, right? They specialize in your make of vehicle. Check them out online at VexEuropean.com. They're located on Benefit Drive and Industrialplex. It's Vex European. Here's news. And good morning to Christy. just texted him 3 topics, and we go wherever else he wants to. Oh. Interesting. Leanne says, my 4-year-old daughter said Clemson's mascot looks sick with rabies. .637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Time to check in down in New Orleans with our good buddy Jeff Crouere from Ringside Politics. How are you, Jeff?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Good morning. Okay, my plan going into the weekend was to kind of recap like Katrina memories that we may have forgotten, but something happened over the weekend that I think redirected this. Are you seeing this whole like following Royce DePlessis into church with a camera scandal?
Fill me in, sort of. I mean,
Okay, so like Byron Cole, who do you know who Byron Cole is?
yes.
Okay.
He's a social media influencer. Mhm.
Okay, so apparently Byron Cole followed Royce DePlessis into church and filmed him the entire time.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. I don't know what the point of it was, but like apparently there's all this hubbub about how I don't think Byron Cole got the juice out of this that he wanted to, because everyone's on Royce DePlessis' side, up to it, including Helena Moreno. It's this weird story that like looked like it was going to be some kind of scandal, but I don't know if we know anything about the motives behind it or what he was looking for or anything.
I mean, probably it was some kind of a way to ambush him or embarrass him or troll him. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, give a person at least a little bit of privacy in church, right?
Right? One would hope. Yeah, I just embarrassed him. He showed up for church. Like, once you've walked through the doors of that building, you pretty much know you're not going to get. I mean, unless he was like waiting for him to fall asleep or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show you how heated things can become, and we're now in the home stretch. We just got a little over a month, and Royce is sort of the candidate with some momentum. So I mean, he's going to have some people coming after him.
Meanwhile, Cole and Moreno mentioned this in her, like, I saw it on like Facebook Reels, in her response to calling it disgusting and everything. She says, if you've worked in public office at any level, you've dealt with Byron Cole. And I'm like, up here in Baton Rouge, I don't know who he is.
Right.
So how does he get?
Yeah, he's a guy who is, vocal online, and I think considers himself to be, a player, and I guess has now decided to come after Royce Duplessis. Yeah, it backfired big time, obviously.
Well, do we know if he has a dog in the hunt in this race? Like, do we know?
I mean, he's certainly no conservative. I mean, he's someone who's, what he calls himself, an advocate for his community and so forth. But he could very well be for either Oliver, or he'd be either for Oliver or Helena.
Okay.
And some effort to try to bring down the candidate who's got some momentum right now, Royce Duplessis. But I'm sure nobody would sanction that kind of thing. I mean, that's
right.
That's just not appropriate. There are some areas where you got to give people some leeway when they go to church. I mean, come on.
Well, and then A, give him leeway when he goes to church. B, you filmed him for 40 minutes before giving up. I mean, that's just to sit there for 40 minutes going, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I might not get you. My hand's getting tired.
I think he was probably maybe thinking there was going to be some kind of major faux pas or something that he would catch.
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, this is a guy who's a state senator. I mean, he's not some, flash in the pan. I mean, he's been around a little while. He's from a prominent family, so yeah. I don't know where he was going with this.
No, but it's I mean, and then on top of that, I guess he went and posted it. Like, or I don't know if he posted it or it was a live stream, but like, if you have no smoking gun here, you've got nothing out of your 40-minute video. Like, pull it down. Like, you don't have to share with the rest of the class here, buddy.
Well, it just, was viewed, I think, by as disrespectful, and didn't do what he was hoping to do, which was, to harm Duplessis. I'll be interested to see some of the latest polls. The last one that I saw showed him in second place now, so he's the leading contender to Helena Moreno.
Yeah.
And be interesting to see if that trend continues. But he's caught fire pretty quickly. He got in this thing, then got out, then got back in. And, I mean, that's very rare for someone to get in, get out, get back in, and, do well.
Right. Normally when someone gets out, that's it. They're done. When you hear, like, we're suspending or pausing campaign, like, that means it's over with. To see someone get back into it is huge. How well funded is he for the home stretch?
I mean, from what I can tell, he's gathering some pretty decent campaign funding. I mean, Helena Moreno obviously has the most money.
Yeah.
She's also got the most political support. She's won some endorsements. I talked to Troy Carter. He tells me that he's going to be endorsing a candidate within the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a big factor. It'd be interesting to see what direction he goes in. He's obviously the congressman for New Orleans, probably the most prominent political figure in New Orleans right now, considering nobody wants the mayor's endorsement. Or, right. And the sheriff is in the midst of a campaign where she's got, I mean, her war chest is like $375. She's got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, so Troy Carter could be a big player in these last few weeks.
I would seek the endorsement of the escapees before I would seek the endorsement of the sheriff.
Right. I mean, it's really incredible, but it's looking terrible for her. But so anyway, that could be a factor in these final days. There'll be lots of forums. We're going to sponsor one on our radio station. there'll be a lot of different entities, doing events in these last few weeks. So, people, they always say after Labor Day is when people, start focusing on elections, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So home stretch time. So hopefully if you're Royce Duplessis, you don't go to the French market or something, have somebody follow you around buying a cheap wallet. I don't know.
Right. It tells me that he's the hot candidate right now.
That's the kind of backfiring you wouldn't want, though. Not only were you looking, not only did you not get your gotcha moment, but also you've created this level of endearment for Duplessis. Like, poor guy's just trying to go to church. I mean, that's
exactly.
Leave him alone. We're talking with Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. All right, Katrina anniversary has come and gone. Did anything stick out to you that you may have forgotten over the last 20 years?
Well, I guess there's a lot of national interest in New Orleans. I just found there to be lots of coverage, lots of different documentaries, media coverage of it, on different networks. So, it's just a reminder that New Orleans is an international city. Katrina was such a traumatic period for not just us here, but really something that the nation followed very, very closely. So I like that most of the coverage was, boy, New Orleans took this amazing blow and is resilient, and, the city's still there.
Yeah.
And, the changes were made, and flood protection is much better, and that, a lot of money was invested, and this is where it was invested, and this is why the city's in a better position the next time there's going to be a Katrina. So I thought it was mostly positive, and I was glad to see it.
With all the stories and documentaries of the tragedy, the devastation, the horror that was Katrina, and I don't want to underplay any of that, but what I've yet to see is the side-by-side comps of Katrina versus Ida, which was 4 years ago on Friday, to see the side-by-side to show that we can learn, we can get it right, we can do it differently to where, you can mitigate the amount of damage. Ida had all the potential to be Katrina 2.0 and wasn't.
And that is a very good point, because I think it showed that, the preparations really paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Although, there's still, 4 years after Ida, people that have not been made whole for Ida.
Right.
I hear it all the time. People are saying they're still, battling their insurance company. There's still FEMA repair that needs to be done. You got some in Jefferson Parish right now. Jefferson was really the parish that was hurt a lot more by Ida than Orleans.
Well, yeah, and it's important for Baton Rouge to remember Jefferson Parish goes all the way down to Grand Isle. So we're not talking about like Metairie and Kenner and whatnot. We're talking like further closer to the Gulf. So, there are people in Jefferson that are still. In fact, I saw that article at NOLA.com this morning that are still battling it out. But I'm talking about the overall infrastructure, what was built underneath us and around us to protect us. It's like
it worked.
Yeah, it worked. It did work this time. So.
And I think that's a very good point. That would have been a nice way to say, hey, the investment was worth it. It was something that paid off, and here's the proof.
What else are you working on right now? What's on the show today?
So it's going to be a lot about the election now that we're in the we're in the home stretch. Going to be talking to a gentleman who is a local community activist, and someone who's a crime fighter, a guy who goes by the name Captain Black, who says that he's being targeted because of his beliefs, because of what he's doing to try to keep the community safe. And he's going to tell us about some of the issues that he's been having with his landlord, with his neighborhood. He believes he's a victim of discrimination because he's trying to fight crime. So we're going to have him on
Captain
to talk
Black?
about. Yeah.
Oh, this
right.
has all the makings of a Marvel comic. I love it.
Right.
He is Jeff Crouere. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, so he's a unique figure, and someone that we have on periodically.
Awesome stuff. We will chat with you next week, Jeff. Always appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you, Brian. Take care.
Thank you. Yep, he is Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. You can catch him on WGSO down in New Orleans. love that we've carved out that segment and we just keep going with it. There's just so much interchanging news between the two. We're coming up on 6:50 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're going to have to take a quick break. We will check your money now. We will check traffic. When we come back, you want to talk about post-hurricanes. We talk about fighting with your insurance companies and FEMA down in Jefferson Parish. Well, they're still fighting post-Laura 5 years later over in southwest Louisiana. We'll dive into that story right after, like I said, your money now and traffic. It's 6:50 at Talk 107.3. Mary? All right, I've got to run upstairs right quick, y'all. Okay, we ran short on time when I was talking about the bus ride, but the bus ride for Clemson reminds me of that scene in The Jerk. Remember The Jerk with Steve Martin when he's hitchhiking? How far you going? St. Louis. How far you going? Into that fence. Okay. The Clemson bus ride is like Navin Johnson hitchhiking. How far you going? Into that fence. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. So it looks like only 2 Louisiana teams lost over the weekend. Southeastern played Louisiana Tech, so a Louisiana team was going to lose there. And then UL Lafayette. ULLL. Yeah. Well, they just picked up another L. That would be a great spoof endorsement. Have pictures of the escapees endorse the sheriff in her reelection. That would be. I still want to do the security footage of the escape. Needs to be put to the music from a Mentos commercial. It's built for it, dude. Do 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 do. Ooh, ah. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Debbie says on Facebook Live, by the way, we're live on Facebook every day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Debbie says, watched several of the Katrina shows and someone talking about the levees and break walls. What stood out was he said all these improvements are not to save lives, it's to save property. That was eye-opening. That's an interesting take. I didn't even consider that. Well, I would consider one to be the other, though, right? If the property's intact, if the lives are in the property and the property remains intact, then if you keep the flood water out of the property, you're saving the life as well. A kind of a, if-then scenario. If the property is saved, then the life is saved too. I would hope. But you're talking about intent right there, which is interesting. One of the things, and do I dare open this Pandora's box right now? 6:56 on a Tuesday morning. One of the things that I took away from the Katrina documentaries was the effects of generational governmental care, governmental help, governmental dependence. And I put those three in that order on purpose. Generational dependence. That was an overwhelming theme to me. It was never spoken about in any of the documentaries. I never saw any one time where you said, you have so many people who rely on the government for so many things. Government reliance is up top of and what happens when the crisis is too bad for the government to handle? The people you turn to that you've relied upon for multiple generations. This is the result of that. Anyway, meanwhile, in our last segment, we talked with Jeff Crouere a little bit about how, some folks from Lower Jefferson Parish are still recovering from Hurricane Ida. Meanwhile, you heard the story in our News from Louisiana Radio Network. Southwest Louisiana is still rebuilding 5 years after Hurricane Laura. Judd Berries, the parish president over in Calcasieu Parish, says months after the storm, the parish developed a long-term hurricane recovery plan, which helped produce a more resilient and upgraded infrastructure system.
It's a document that we came up with, our staff, the jurors, with outside stakeholders, federal partners, how we'll continue to work together and lead and manage the recovery.
And we're kind of in the working phase of that right now. Barry says drainage projects, water work projects, they've seen major investments. He says the police jury completed a $200 million project to remove debris from drainage laterals following Laura and Delta.
If there's any adding, it was some folks from Cameron Parish moving north. And we did have some folks that moved from Calcasieu Parish up to Beauregard.
And the amount of, it was the 1-2 punch of Laura and Delta that I think was probably the most devastating, right? Because Laura was a Cat 4. And you're talking 150 mile per hour winds, $17 billion in damage, killed dozens statewide. And then while you're down, while you've been kicked, while you don't have a roof on your home, here comes Delta just a few weeks later. Barry says there's some residents still battling with their insurance companies over that 1-2 punch.
There are still folks out there that are still going back and forth. Obviously, these are more extreme cases, but it's the fact that they're having to do it still.
And we're seeing it here in Baton Rouge as a result of the 2016 flood, We got news, traffic, weather coming your way. Since I do have 30 seconds before the top of the hour, want to let you know that it is still hurricane season. We're not even to the peak yet. There is a storm out there that, as of right now, has a 70% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. We'll tell you about that a little bit next hour. If it does become a storm, I believe it will be Gabrielle is next, and then Umberto after that. Right now, it's 7 o'clock. Here comes news on Talk 107.3 FM. Oh, Troy says, why not the video of the Kit Kat jingle? The poetry behind the Mentos is, number one, like, the people in the Mentos commercial are always doing something they probably shouldn't be doing and getting away with it. But it's like harmless in those commercials, right? They give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. They're not like, that's just about like the pop and the snap of the bar, right? When you just breaking them apart. It's the way the footage plays out with them like sneaking through one broken piece of wall and then running out the door and then scooting across the interstate. It's built. Trust me, it is built for a Mentos commercial. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. We got Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber coming up this hour. We've got Will Green from LABI coming up this hour. Looking forward to both those conversations. Big announcement last week as a number of jobs are coming to West Baton Rouge. Anna will break that down and maybe talk a little bit about what else the West Baton Rouge Chamber is working on. Also, Will Green from LABI, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Will normally joins us on a Monday, but Monday was a holiday, so we bumped to a Tuesday. And last week we started in on the legislative scorecard breakdown, and we didn't get nearly all the way through it. So we'll pick up where we might recap a little bit, pick up where we left off, and continue that breakdown. Who's doing the business of the people over at our state capitol? That's all coming up later on this hour. Right now, though, we start off hour 2 with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
I was teasing it going into the top of the hour there. We've got a 70% chance of Gabrielle forming over the next 7 days, 30% chance over the next 48 hours. A tropical wave located off the far eastern tropical Atlantic south of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for a gradual development of the system during the next several days, and a tropical depression is likely to form later this week or weekend. The system is expected to move westward to west-northwestward around 15 miles per hour across the eastern and central tropic Atlantic all the way. They're projecting right now all the way through next weekend.
Number 4.
2 local Baptist churches about 5 miles away from each other were vandalized with profane messages spray painted on the buildings late Sunday night and early Monday morning. Police have arrested 24-year-old Jimmy J. Mouton for spray painting the words, "The Son of God blank," that's a B word, and "greedy, lying pedophiles" on the side of Indian Mound Baptist Church around 12:45 a.m. Monday. Earlier in the night, around 11:30 p.m. Sunday, Mouton allegedly also spray painted a similar message on the doors of the Greenwell Springs Baptist Church.
Number 3.
No one was injured in a Saturday night shooting that led to an hours-long standoff here in Baton Rouge, according to BRPD. Officers responded to a call of a man being shot at in the 1000 block of North 44th Street around 6:30 p.m. When police arrived, a suspect ran into a home, refused to come out. He did come out with an AK-47 at some point. Officers had a standoff with the suspect for several hours until he eventually came out and gave up. BRPD said 48-year-old Daryl Carter was taken into custody.
Number 2.
BRPD is investigating a shooting that happened near the intersection of Government Street and South Foster Drive early Monday morning. Police say someone was shot in their car, which then ran into the sign of the Smoothie King, located on Government around 3:30 a.m. Monday. Man, if we didn't have the day off yesterday, I would have driven right through that like half an hour later. Yeah. The victim was taken to a hospital. They later passed away Monday afternoon.
Number 1.
More problems at Smitty's Supply on Monday. The EPA shared an update saying, quote, "In the early afternoon of September 1st, a damaged tank at the Smitty's Supply facility site overpressurized, causing a blowout of the tank roof. No one was injured. No other damage occurred. Response crews are continuing to assess remaining tanks for pressure issues to prevent further incidents." What's trending, JP?
Well, President Donald Trump said Monday he will award former New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor.
So with Rudy Giuliani, you got to look at the whole resume here, and try to remove yourself from today's politics. I mean, because if you are like all in MAGA, then Giuliani is a dutiful foot soldier, right? If you're never Trump, then you believe he should be locked away for his remaining days. But if you back yourself up just a little bit, the entirety of his career, whether you're talking about post 9/11 when he was America's mayor to pre 9/11 when he was cleaning up Manhattan. I mean, New York in the 80s versus New York in the late 90s are two entirely different worlds. So I don't know through which lens this award is being proposed, and I don't know through which lens this award will be perceived. But hopefully hopefully we can look at the sum of the resume.
That's right. In other news, the Israeli military announced over the weekend that it killed the longtime spokesperson for Hamas's armed wing. So, I know.
Killing Hamas's spokesperson to me feels like, and I don't want to take shots at within this conflict here, but like during the Revolutionary War, if the colonists had fired shots at the British soldier who was just carrying the drum, can I shoot the guy with the drum?
Oh,
No. What about your boy on the fife? Yeah, take him out. That's the equivalent here to me.
my goodness, man. Yeah, the fact that there's a spokesperson.
The fact, well, that too. The fact that there's a spokesperson for Hamas.
In other news, starting today, Costco will be enforcing their new shopping policy, only allowing executive members in from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., opening up for everyone else.
No, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
9, yeah, so I thought it was.
You said p.m.
Oh, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., yes.
Yeah.
Opening
Basically,
for everyone else at 10. Yeah.
The first hour that they're open, you got to be an executive member.
Yep.
Yeah, which I thought that was always the way.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that way at Sam's as well?
I thought so.
Yeah.
It's to get the businesses in there that need their products to resell on their retail level. That's why you have a wholesale. That's the difference between wholesale and retail. I mean, when I go into Costco or I go into Sam's Club, but Costco we're talking about today, if I'm going in there, then I'm still a retail customer. I'm just buying in bulk. I'm not a wholesale customer who's looking to turn around. I'm not looking to go in there to buy 100 rolls of toilet paper to resell them.
Right.
I'm not buying the big, things of individual bags of Skittles or Snickers because I own a concession stand. That's what that first hour is for, or at least that's what I thought. Apparently, a lot of people are upset about it. I don't know. I minimize those visits. I would much rather shop local. That's there's times when you do the big bulk things, but no, keep me out of that headache. It's 7:12 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to head over to the other side of the river in just a little bit. Before we do, though, want to keep it on this side of the river and remind you about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is their home base online where you can learn about everything that they've got to offer. I tell you about their calendar of events, whether you're talking about all the different events or the camps that they have going on. I know the kids just got back at school not long ago, but it might be time to start thinking about what's coming over at Breck for for holidays. We're not that far away, and Breck offers a number of great holiday camps. So whether you're talking about, just recreational camps, maybe at the zoo, maybe something that's more educationally based out of Bluebonnet Swamp Nature Center or conservation based, they've got holiday camps that meet a number of different criteria. And if you wanted to learn more about those, you can check them out at breck.org. There are fall holiday camps in, like, let's say around Thanksgiving time. There are camps around Christmas time as well, basically coinciding with when the kids are not in school. So this can help you out a great deal to make your way through the holidays. You can learn more at breck.org. Quick break. Anna Johnson is up next. She's calling in. Rolling over to 716 and Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Time to get caught up with what's going on over on the west side. For that, we turn to the head of the West Baton Rouge Chamber. That would be one Anna Johnson. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well as well. Big announcement last week with more jobs coming to Brewley. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so S&T Global announced that they are putting their first manufacturing facility right in Brewley, Louisiana. So we're super excited about that. So there's going to be two components to this project. One is going to be energy, and the other one's going to be automotive manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So they bought up the old Trinity Marine building in Brewley. That's right there on Intercoastal. And I think it's about 175,000 square feet, and they want to add on an additional 150,000 square feet to that. So this is going to be a large project over the span of the next 10 years. And with that, there's going to be a lot of infrastructure enhancements and improvements that go along with that, because I know that's the first question everybody's going to ask. So yes, anytime you have a project of this size, there are automatically infrastructure improvements that are going to be made, because we understand the traffic hiccups that everybody gets a little gun shy about. But we're excited about this. This will create about 300 jobs on the first leg of it. And then over 10 years, they expect that number to get up to 2,500. So really excited about this.
As you would expect. I mean, 300 right at the blocks is such an awesome number. And so the location here, if I'm not mistaken, it's a little bit back a ways off of Highway 1. So, like, when you talk about infrastructure improvements, are you talking about just the facility, or are you talking about getting to and from what used to be Trinity?
Getting to and from, well,
Yeah.
kind of both. So where it's located, they're going to have to expand right now, because it's just one lane going both ways down to that site.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously you can't transport things, especially with 18-wheelers and trucks of that size, down just one lane. So they're going to expand that. And then we've been working with DOTD and the governor's office on what we want the second leg of that infrastructure to look like. So is it, pushing up the 415 connector project? Is it creating an entirely different road? Is it making enhancements to LA1? So right now we're kind of looking at a combination of all those things, because as you know, traffic gets gridlocked there. Existing traffic already backs up kind of right there between 3 and 5 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
And then you add school traffic onto that to compound that. So we understand the nuances surrounding that, but we want you to know that this is the first thing on our list to address. So the governor's office has been fantastic in working with us, and this is really kind of the first thing that we sat down. We sat down with Julia Cormier. We sat down with the governor's office, and we said, look, this is one of those things where when you're looking at projects and vetting them to come in, can these parishes or towns and municipalities handle it? Well, obviously, we don't want to lose a project of this size. And I think I said this earlier this year, I do think in Louisiana you're going to see a big manufacturing boom over the next 3 to 5 years, and this is just the beginning of it. And, when we met with the folks from S&T, it was funny, the guys that we met with, they made a comment in regards to the Hyundai steel mill facility coming. They said, we were just waiting for somebody to be the first. Huh. And so when he said that, I was like, oh, a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, okay, so we're going to start seeing a lot more of this. And so we're excited that we got to land one of those projects.
Well, and this is another one coming in from Korea, just like Hyundai. It's like once LSU got an Australian punter and Brad Wing, they couldn't get away from Australian punters.
And there's the football cliches. It's only week 1. I love it.
Yep, always. You know how it is on this show. It's either going to be sports or Sopranos. It's always one of the two. We're talking with Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. I want to expound on this Highway 415 connector here, because just looking at it on a map, looking where Trinity's at on a map, how far back to the west is that 415 connector going to go before looping back around again? Because this is quite the jog. I mean, that would make 415 a bigger project in scope than I thought it was.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think has been nuanced in this whole project is, number one, with the Grand Fuels project,
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a little bit of a pause because I think the original plans for the 415 connector were going straight through where that project was going to be. And then number two, I think with the restructure of DOTD, the priority list has changed a little bit. And so, earlier this year in session, we actually sat down with DOTD, and it was Senator Klein-Peter who called a meeting. And there were some issues with Intercoastal where, they were talking about shutting Intercoastal down for, one lane both ways. And he's like, oh, no. And then he made a comment that I still to this day, I laugh, but he's like, look, we need this 415 connector to hurry up and happen because you have to go through West Baton Rouge traffic before you even get to East Baton Rouge traffic. And so we get left out, but it's like you got to go through our traffic first. And he's not wrong. I think that, if we go ahead and do the 415 connector project, I think that would alleviate a lot of traffic that goes across the Mississippi Bridge because it gives people an alternative route to get on LA1 and go down to Donaldsonville or Iberville or, White Castle. But as it stands, everybody's just kind of gridlocked and on the Mississippi Bridge. And so I think it, when you put it in terms like that and then you tie it to a project of this size, I think DOTD is starting to see that maybe their formula for calculating what projects are priority has to change a little bit. So
well, and these projections have to factor into that because you look at the volume that's already on one, and then you say we're going to add 300 more cars to that by this date and 2,500 more by this date. I mean, that's got to factor into how we build out.
Well, it is. And also, when we talk about, and I feel like we've gotten so many wins over the last year all around the state, but one of the things that we lose projects to is infrastructure. I mean, sometimes, when we're vetting these projects and they get to the final stages where they're deciding between us or Texas, this is where these things come into play. And so if a manufacturer says, well, it's going to take 3 hours for my 18-wheeler to get out of traffic in Baton Rouge, but if I do this project in Beaumont, Texas, it takes 30 minutes, well, that's a no-brainer. I mean, time is money. And so, it is, I can't stress that enough, but that's one of the first things we always look at. And I feel like Ascension was probably dealing with a little bit of that too, with some pushback on their traffic, but I don't think people understand any time we look at a project this size statewide. I mean, there are always going to be infrastructure improvements made. It's just when,
right?
And where's the money? So, so I think these things help. These projects help move these economic development projects help move these infrastructure projects along. So,
we've got Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber on with us. Okay, S&T. You mentioned some of it's on the energy side, some of it's on the auto side. From the auto side, what do they manufacture there? Are we talking like individual car parts?
Yeah, just individual car parts. They've also got a leg of, they manufacture gun parts too. So they have a facility in Nevada, I believe. So they've been in that sector a while. And what's crazy is they had approached us. They had already found the site. They weren't looking for any incentives. They were going to just put this whole project themselves, and we're like, oh, okay, we like that,
Mm-hmm.
But, once we sat down with them and LED, and I want to, commend their whole team. They've been great in telling them about, ITEP or Fast Start or the new High Impact Job program. And they had no idea about any of these programs. And so, when they can go back and tell other manufacturers or tell other companies about things like this, all it does is kind of make that draw to Louisiana even stronger. And so one of the things they kept saying is, we're ready to be a good steward of this community. We're ready to pay taxes. We're ready to expand our portfolio because these two companies were the parent companies, and then S&T Global is what's going to be the company that is housed in West Baton Rouge. And so they just kind of keep developing their portfolio a little bit more. And so we're hoping that we get another leg of that project, maybe even 20 years down the road. So really excited.
What does the energy side do?
They produce energy for petrochem plants and things of that nature. So they do a lot of green stuff, a lot of air type chemicals, things like that. I know that they do a lot just in the petrochem corridor So things of that nature. And then, like I said, they manufacture the gun parts, and now they're doing automotive manufacturing. So who knows what could be next, but the possibilities are endless.
We're talking with Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber, laying out what S&T is planning for Bruley, moving into the old Trinity Marine site eventually as it moves forward. On the site itself, Anna, we kind of skipped right past this because I jumped right into the infrastructure of the area around. On the site itself, how much has got to be done to flip that property?
Oh gosh, well they're ready to put a shovel in the ground yesterday. No, so they're using the existing building that's already there. I think they said 6 months for
Okay.
the first tier of improvement. I don't think there's a lot that needs to be done. It's really just kind of moving parts in and kind of getting that first modular build set up.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're bringing in just a small team from Korea to kind of help with the first build out, but they fully intend to hire local. I mean, they've really done a great job of getting out in the community. They've been here a lot. They've met with us. They've met with LED. They've met, I think, with the local community colleges. So I think they're kind of on that vertical that Hyundai's been on, where they see the need for workforce development, and they see a pocket that they can be a steward in. And so we're excited about that. I mean, they know they can't just, I think everybody gets hung up in semantics. Like, they're just going to hire a bunch of Koreans. They're going to bring over all the Koreans. They have no intention of doing that. They want to hire local. I mean, that's kind of absurd to think that, they could get 2,500 visas and just move all these people over here. Like that's just not even reality.
I mean,
So
we're having a tough enough time keeping out imported shrimp. So
right.
we got,
Exactly.
sorry, that was.
So, so when they say they want to hire local, I mean, they really mean that. They know that these folks know the community, and they want buy-in from everybody as well. So, I mean, if they could help build up a community, that's first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been really, really good to us. So,
What else is on your radar? What are you working on?
oh, geez, what are we not working on? We do have a couple of other projects in the works that we obviously can't talk about, but this month we put our small business summit on hold until next year.
What?
Yeah, well, we have something kind of big in mind that we want to do for that next year, and I think we've secured a partnership, which I think you'll be really excited about, but we're still kind of in the middle stages of that. So whenever we roll that out next year, it's going to be even bigger and better. But so we wanted to do something kind of fun this month to replace that. So we're actually having your boss, Gordy Rush, come talk at one of our luncheons later this month. We're doing just kind of a big tailgate, like football kickoff tailgate type luncheon.
Okay.
So Gordy's going to come. He'll be our guest speaker, but we're going to kind of do like a 2 or 3 hour long Taste of West Baton Rouge type tailgate thing. So it'll be fun. It's going to be in the Addis Community Center on September 18th. We're going to have all of our restaurants and local caterers and vendors come in and, do kind of like the big setup. This will be kind of like the West Side version of a Taste of Tiger tailgating. But so we've got that. And then in October, we're going to do our State of Education. So there are a couple of school taxes, our library millage renewal, and things of that nature are going to be on the November ballot. And so we pushed our State of Education up to October because our superintendent wanted to come talk about that and talk about the importance of getting out and voting and making sure that, you're checking yes on some of these renewals. Obviously, those directly impact the community, and so he wanted to make sure that he was kind of spreading that message and getting that out there as early as possible. So,
well, yeah,
that's kind of what's on the horizon for the next couple of months.
If you're talking about building out that infrastructure, building out that school system is equally as important as the roads that we drive on when it comes to where are the folks going to work and where they're going to live. I mean, those go hand in hand.
Exactly. Yep.
In the meanwhile, she is Anna Johnson from the West Baton Rouge Chamber. Always appreciate the time. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Thanks. We'll talk to you soon. 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We got a break for news, traffic, weather. When we come back, Will Green from LABI. He's on the hotline next. Okay, was that joke offensive? We're having a tough enough time keeping on imported shrimp. I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Yeah, I am. I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Oh, not even that. Just a little talking to. Oh. 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 All right, we're going to run a little poll question, an informal poll question here. I hate doing the whole, every time the Powerball's up over $1 billion, asking, what would you do with $1 billion? It's played out. Off it. I'm totally off it. Hang on. Troy says if Jeff Crouere thinks the Katrina docs have been fairly positive of post-storm efforts, he should watch the Netflix one for extreme overcorrection. Okay. I haven't watched the Netflix one yet either. Christy and I started another documentary last night. Another documentary about Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt. If you don't know, there was a big story a couple years ago about this cult in Utah, and they were like abusing children, and had like a kid escapes and wanders over to another house, and anyway, we're watching the documentary on it. It's pretty sick. So I'm gonna pick up that Netflix one right after this. Back to my question though. Here's the question. All right. If you don't normally buy a Powerball ticket, what does a jackpot have to reach for you to buy a Powerball ticket? 737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I got a little informal poll we're going to put up at over on Talk 107.3's live stream, which we're live every day courtesy of Lake Urgent Care. If the Powerball jackpot's up to $1.3 billion, and every time the jackpot gets, way up there, I'm curious, and I've never asked this question in this terms before. If you don't normally buy a Powerball ticket, what number is the key number to motivate you to go out and buy a Powerball ticket? Because these numbers have escalated over the years. It used to be 100 million was enough to get people out the door. Now, then it was $500 million. Well, now we're at $1.3 billion. What number, if any, motivates you to go buy a ticket? Comment over on our Facebook Live feed. In the meanwhile, we're going to check in with the president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, who did not win the Powerball last night. That's why he's on the phone this morning. Will Green, how are you?
Brian, $1 billion, $1 million, $1, I would always be on the radio with you the next morning, my friend.
Oh, I greatly appreciate that. Very, very much so. Do you play Powerball?
Not regularly. I heard you on the intro. What does it take for you to buy a Powerball ticket? For me, I think it's like convenience. If I'm in the store or if I'm, just passing by or something and it's, high enough, every once in a while I'll throw $2 down and get a Powerball ticket. But it's not something that I think about very often, even though I'll tell you what, they do a good job of putting those billboards and those bright lights and all those numbers, and after that dot up to kind of make you think, boy, what would I do with all that money?
Right? I mean, $1.3 billion, which I know you're probably going to get about, 35-40% of that when it's all said and done, but it's still, that's a lot of coin.
That's a lot. That even after taxes, that's enough.
Yep. Speaking of which, I don't know how to segue this. Do I segue with the jackpots on the billboards, or do I segue it with the taxes? Let's dive back into legislative scorecards.
Yeah, so last week, Brian, we introduced our annual legislative scorecard. It's about the 45th year that we have issued such a scorecard, ranking legislators on how they voted on pro-business, free enterprise legislation to try to move our state forward. And so, again, this year we had 13 most valuable policymakers who scored 100%, voted 100% to prioritize free enterprise and job growth, 28 all-stars who voted 90% or more, and then another 34 honorable mentions who voted at least 80% of the time or more to help lobby in advancing jobs and driving economic opportunity. And so, we came in this year with an aggressive agenda to try to build upon the successes of last year. Our kind of theme this year has been full throttle, and we came in with a plan to try to build upon tax reform and insurance reform and workforce development and education. And I think that's what's reflected in this scorecard and in the bills that we voted, that we ultimately scored.
Talk with Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, about the 2025 legislative scorecard. Will, were there any surprises within this from you? Because I think, we had a lot of access to state legislators this year, and I think that those who were out in front were out in front. Did anything catch you by surprise along the way?
Well, I mean, I think, the surprise maybe not the right word, because like you said, I mean, we all through session continue to stay in touch. We monitored the progress of these bills. I think we were really, felt really good about the progress we made in civil justice reform, right? I mean, we passed 4 really, I think, positive pieces of legislation to help make our state a more attractive place to do business and to write insurance. And how we did that was, we looked at where are we an outlier? I mean, where are we within our civil justice system? What are our laws not line up with other states. And we passed several legislative measures to remove us from that kind of outlier tag, right? Going from a pure comparative fault state where we were one of 8 in the country to modified comparative fault, while we're now we align with 80% of the states across the country there. We reversed the Housley presumption, which was a Supreme Court case that was a judicially created presumption that we couldn't really find anywhere else in the country, that was really making it hard for insurance carriers to come here and do business, and then increasing no pay, no play. These were the kind of things that we did really to move the state forward on insurance. And then, we didn't get everything obviously we wanted. There's still a lot of work left to do there. Kelly Bad Faith got vetoed. We can still do more in medical transparency to get the full evidence in front of the jury, like states like Florida and Georgia have now. And obviously on tax reform, Brian, we're still one of 9 states in the country that fully taxes inventory. That's an ad valorem tax. That's a tax on your inventory held for sale in the state. That's levied at the local level. And used to, these states, said that that's such a bad tax. We'll go ahead and give you businesses that tax that you pay at the local level back as a credit. Well, if you're a C corporation, you're no longer going to get that credit. And so that disincentivizes doing business here in Louisiana. And we had legislation to try to extend that credit for C corporations. And unfortunately, it did make it across the finish line. And so a lot of positive things, some negative, that, always is. We've obviously still got work left to do, but we've got a really, really strong foundation to build upon.
We're talking with Will Green, President CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Will, one of the comparisons I was making, I forget when, but, if you're doing like a big jigsaw puzzle, right? And you can find individual pieces. This legislative session, I think we found enough pieces to determine what a part of that puzzle was. Like, you're putting together a puzzle, you find enough pieces to go together, you're like, ooh, that's a boat. I think we've gotten to that point now to where we have enough pieces to knock out a chunk of the puzzle. There's still more to be done, but we can see what we're doing now.
Yeah, the picture's becoming clearer, the vision's becoming clearer, the results we're starting to see, right? I mean, we're starting to see investment back in Louisiana. We're companies coming to Louisiana like we haven't seen in decades. I mean, look at the Meta announcement, look at the other data center announcement down in around St. Francisville. Look at CF Industries and Venture Global and Woodside. I mean, these are the kind of billion-dollar projects and thousands of jobs that are going to be coming to Louisiana, the likes that we haven't seen in decades. And so, that's like you said. I mean, that is positive movement. That's pieces of a broader puzzle. They're not all in place yet. I mean, we've got we've got work left to do, but as you said, the puzzle is forming, and we are moving the state forward like never before.
Well, and when we're talking about putting the puzzle together, this is all part of the LA Driven plan. So it's I don't maybe it's just me, but I keep in mind that this was not a one-time deal. Like, we finally have the long-term plan to where we know we're going to keep coming back to it. Every time the legislature's in, we will be able to revisit it.
Yeah, so it's a great point, and that's why we put together LA Driven. I mean, if you look at the states that are constantly at the top of the list as best states for doing business, right? Florida, North Carolina, Virginia. You can go on their state chambers websites, and they've had strategic plans for years now, right? Plans that surround infrastructure and tax and insurance and education and workforce. And so when, it was a big reason we wanted to put this strategic plan together that encompassed all of those things, but it wasn't a one-year plan. I mean, it's a multi-year plan. We knew that, but one of the things that we're so excited about is we are making great strides already. I mean, we're making incredible progress on the road to growth and success. And in just 2 years, we have passed nearly 100 LA-driven bills that really fall underneath those recommendations within that strategic plan. And so, I mean, that's a lot of success in just a short time. but again, that is not a 1 or 2 year plan. I mean, that's a 5 to 7 year plan, like it is in other states, right? I mean, we talked about Florida on their insurance reform. I mean, they were constantly on the judicial hellhole list with Louisiana, and they went in over a 3 year period passed aggressive insurance reform on homeowners insurance and on car insurance, tort reform. And we've got to do that. We started with a little bit in 2021 and 22. Significant change last year with the fortified roof program and the fair claims processing and fortified roof, and then this year now with Housley and with modified comparative fault and increasing the caps to recover for no pay, no play. I mean, these are multi-year efforts that are going to result in what we hope to be generational change.
We got about 2 minutes left with Will Green, President, CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. How long from the from the end of the last session before Lobby knows which ones are going to be the hot points for next session? Is it as simple as picking up what didn't cross the finish line, or is there a reassessment period involved?
So that process starts now. We have our strategic planning meeting with our board coming up here in a week. Mm-hmm. We start polling our members. We start talking to our coalition members and industry and business. We do we benchmark, right? I mean, we look at the LA driven strategic plan. What have we accomplished? What work is left to do? And so we start putting those pieces back on the puzzle and see, all right, what have we accomplished? What do we have left to do? We meet with our issue councils, our coalitions, our board, and then around November is when we really come up with our top priorities, broad priorities that ultimately become the legislation that we support.
He is Will Green, President and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We always appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, Brian. Have a great rest of the week.
You do the same. We are coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Actually, coming up in just a minute to 750. Need to take just a second to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. It is a home game week. We will have Louisiana Tech in Tiger Stadium this Saturday. If you're bumping around campus on game day, might want to stop by Mathern's. If you're between tailgates and you realize, wait a minute, I'm out of beer, you grab a beer. Here's what they do. They blow out the salad bar, right? Out of the way, lettuce. They blow out the salad bar, fill it with beer, ice cold beer, all day long on game day. If you are back and forth between tailgates, it's the perfect stopover. Grab yourself a bowl of jambalaya while you're there. In fact, they got a whole lot going on game day, and since it's the first game of the season, I would imagine that's going to be ramped up a little bit more. Of course, they're here for you as the full-service grocery store every day of the week, but on game day, the closest grocery store to Tiger Stadium is in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center directly across the street from Tiger Stadium. It's Mathern's, and oh, by the way, you know what I'm going to tell you. If you get the Mathern's Rewards app, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. So stop on by on game day or any day. It's Mathern's. We got news. We got traffic. We got no. We got your money now. Popped. They popped. What is this?
I mean, I could have got better clips. The pressing
you're
for time.
Well down the right path. I don't know if we could do anything with it now because it's dated. It's so dated. I want to. Yeah. This is the kind of shit we should do like in real time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good though.
I could have got more footage, but I was just for the sake of time and all that.
Yeah, there needs to be one more clip before they all run out the front door.
Yeah.
There needs to be one more clip from inside.
Yeah.
That clip on that inside door that ends it.
Yeah.
That part needs to go, and then.
That's funny. But yes, definitely possible to make that stuff.
Ross Westman says at least $1 billion. Emerging energy leader. Who is that?
Otto Knows or something like that?
Who?
Otto Knows? Which is weird. Otto Knows, yeah. Parachute is the name of this.
Keep it going. Talk 107.3 FM is your new home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates, a full statewide scoreboard, check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state, and more. Friday nights this fall from 6 to 11 p.m. It all starts this Friday, September 5th, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We're going to have to check in with Ken Trahan. Put Monday down. Have to check in with Ken before I get rolling. Get him on the show. High school football's here, y'all. Jamborees last weekend. Things get rocking and rolling this weekend. Could not be more fired up. All right, it is 7:56 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. The Powerball's up to $1.3 billion. Was asking the question over on our Facebook Live feed, presented by Lake Urgent Care. In fact, Lake Urgent Care is our digital sponsorship across the board. Talk 107.3 app, now available on Apple CarPlay. Just press play on exclusive podcasts. Listen live 24/7 anywhere you go. Download the app or update to the current version to get access. The Talk 1073 app, of course, presented by Lake Urgent Care, as is our Facebook live feed. Walk-in care for minor illnesses and injuries. It's Lake Urgent Care. Was asking the question on that Facebook live feed. With a $1.3 billion Powerball jackpot, if you don't normally play Powerball, I mean, if you play Powerball every week, or how is it, 3 times a week now? If you play Powerball every time, then you don't need to answer, okay? Just comment and say I play every time. But if you don't play every time, I'm curious, what number is the motivator to get you over the hump here? What number is the motivator to get you to buy a ticket? Because I'm fascinated by this, because the odds are the same whether it's a what is the baseline prize? Is the baseline, what is it, 10 million or something? Whether it's the baseline prize or it's $1.3 billion, your odds are the same either way. So I want to know, what's the number that gets you over the hump to where you say, you know what, if it's 400 million, I don't want that. But if it's 1.3 billion, I do. Because effectively you're saying, pshaw, to your $400 million. Ross says at least 1 billion. All right. I mean, look, I'm going to be in for Wednesday's drawing for sure at 1.3 billion. Matt says sometimes I get in when it's above 500 million. Fair. It's a reasonable number. Byron says basically the same thing that Will Green said in our last segment. I don't base my decision to buy a ticket in the prize size. It's more about if I have to go into the store anyway. So basically, from Byron's standpoint, is if I'm pumping gas, if I pay at the pump, it's not worth that walk across the parking lot to take home $1.3 billion. But if I feel the need for a Snickers bar, now count me in for $1.3 billion. Snickers bar, I'm in. No Snickers bar, I'm out. I mean, oh, goodness gracious. I got to stay on time here. Look at me looking at the clock. All right. Got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, flybtr.com. Flybtr.com is the website. Baton Rouge Metro Airport has added flights for a whole lot of LSU games this year. If you are bringing in friends from other places for the games, or if you're traveling to games, they've added flights. They've added flights throughout the season. For example, if you're going to the Alabama game, there's now a direct flight to Tuscaloosa. There's a direct flight to Nashville for the Vanderbilt game. Across the board, if you run down LSU's schedule, compare it with flybtr.com, you're going to find added flights for those games. Check them out. Like I said, flybtr.com. I love telling you about the direct flight to D.C. We'll get into more about that later on. Right now, though, we got a break. Here comes news. I need to print out those direct flights because I butchered the shit out of that. Okay, so now I get to make fun of both Matt and Byron. So and Will, for that matter. So if you're in the store, it's worth $2 to win $1.3 billion. But if you have to walk it all, forget that shit. No, I'm not. Like, if you're not motivated enough to walk across the park, it's $1.3 billion. Your odds are the same either way. So then it comes back and you're like, but Brian, you know you're not going to win. Well, then why are you forking over the $2 at all? Laziness. Laziness is expensive. What can I say? And there is the right answer. That's awesome. Oh. the last time I did a Powerball bit, I talked about return on investment. In like, so for a $2 investment, you don't want to take $100 million is not an acceptable ROI for a $2 investment, but $1 billion is. Right. And that's why I rephrased the question the way I did today. It's the same question. What's your acceptable return on investment? And I had an accountant rip me a new butthole about like misusing the term ROI.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's exactly what it is. It's potential return on investment.
Yeah.
Like you make an investment. Every investment has risk.
Yeah.
This is a riskier one because your odds are ridiculous. But like whether you're investing in a mutual fund, buying a Powerball ticket, or digging for the Oak Island treasure, you're making an investment that may or may not pay off. Matt says, I mean that I don't make it a part of my errand list, and if you don't play regularly, it slips your mind. I'll get one for Wednesday if I remember. Oh, I'm full-throatedly saying I'm getting one for Wednesday right now, right? But yeah, if I remember. It's top of mind now.
Even if you're at the pump, man, just go in.
Renee says, I figure I have just as good a chance as everyone else. It could happen, to quote Angels in the Outfield. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the Angels win the pennant. Man, that was a good movie.
Bum, 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 bum. Talk 107.3 FM, along with First American Bank and Trust, are teaming up to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This nonprofit organization provides scholarships to the spouses and children of soldiers who were killed or disabled in service. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at talk1073.com. Folds of Honor, to honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. We've got a busy third hour for you. Let's talk about that LSU Economic Development District. Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet slated to join us at 8:15. And while we're around LSU, let's talk about the work going on above and in the University Lakes on the I-10 widening project. We're going to get an update from Rodney Mallet from DOTD. Actually, I'm just using the University Lakes part of this conversation to ask another question on a follow-up to the College Drive flyover. Like, how long do we have to wait before declaring this an unmitigated success? It looks like it's doing everything it's supposed to be doing. We'll talk with Rodney about that at 8:40. Right now, though, you know how we start off the third hour of the show? This day in history.
All right, beginning in 1666, the Great Fire of London begins at 2 a.m. in Pudding Lane. 80% of London is destroyed.
In 1666?
Yeah. Man.
I got that update on the Nextdoor app. Yeah.
1901, Theodore Roosevelt advises, speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. In an address to the Minnesota State Fair.
Love
entitled National Duties.
Love that.
1902, the first sci-fi film, A Trip to the Moon, is released. 1902.
Really?
Already talking about going to the moon.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. 1931, Bing Crosby makes his solo radio debut on his 15 Minutes with Bing Crosby program and a broadcast on the CBS network. Bing Crosby, of course, known for all his Christmas hits, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. 1945, VJ Day. Formal surrender of Japan signed aboard the USS Missouri makes the end of World War II. That's today. Let's see. 1986, Kathy Evelyn Smith sentenced to 3 years for drug-related death of John Belushi.
Really?
Yeah. Got charged.
I didn't know somebody was charged in that death.
Man. Music history here. 1991, Ropin' the Wind, the third studio album by Garth Brooks, is released. Those singles include Shameless, What She's Doing Now, The River, Papa Love Mama, and Rodeo.
He couldn't miss.
Man,
He couldn't, because we talked about No Fences last week. Dude couldn't miss.
Hit. It's insane. And speaking of hits, 1995, Michael Jackson went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with a song written by R. Kelly, You Are Not Alone. It holds the Guinness World Record as the first song in the 37-year history of the Billboard Hot 100 to debut at #1. So, it didn't work its way up the charts. I mean, it debuted at #1. That's incredible.
And it wasn't enough to be sung by Michael Jackson. It had to be written by R. Kelly.
Had to be written by R. Kelly. Had to throw that in there, you know?
Yeah, that's
95.
You're just required to hate it.
I know. You are not. That's so good, right? Oof, man.
That's it. Creepy in hindsight.
2024, Joey Chestnut.
Chestnut.
Why did I say
Chestnut?
Chestnut.
There you go.
Sets a world record by eating 83 hot dogs in Netflix's Unfinished Beef Labor Day Showdown. That's insane.
Okay.
That's insane. How many hot dogs do you think you could finish? Like, really? Like, I mean, you're in a competition.
5.
You think 5?
5.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting past 10.
No.
There's no way.
No, I don't think I'm getting past 5 because you got to eat the bun too.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like a technique with water.
I'm not a competitive eater. I can't.
No.
Not well. I can't even like rock a buffet anymore.
Oh man.
I know. And I'm a fat guy. Like I should be able to pound a lot.
That's what you think about us bigger guys.
Yeah, but
doesn't necessarily mean
it's Joey Chestnut over there. He's not fat, but he can slam. What was it 183? You said?
It was just 83.
Oh, 83.
But still,
that's ridiculous. Ugh. Birthdays.
Keanu Reeves today.
Cool.
Selma Hayek as well
cool.
today. Cool. Let's see. Mark Harmon as well today. NCIS.
Mm-hmm. NCIS. All right.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That was his.
What else was his?
That was his biggest one.
Okay.
I'm back to like 80s Mark Harmon in summer school, you know, or Mark Harmon playing a Secret Service agent on The West Wing.
Yeah.
That's more my Mark Harmon. I wasn't an NCIS. My dad was an NCIS guy.
Yeah. Cat Williams as well today.
Cat Williams.
Yeah. He'll be in town, right? I mean, I know he has a show coming up right there at
Does he?
The Smoothie King Center.
Oh, no. Okay, so down the
No.
road.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
The River
it is.
Center.
It is the River
Raising
Center.
Cane's River Center.
It is the River Center.
Yep. Is that all the birthdays you got? Because I've got like 3 more.
Yeah, what do you have?
I got 3 more in the sports world here. We're going to start off with Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson. We've got, I'm sorry, I should say 5 more. A.G. Spalding was born on this day in 1850. Hall of Fame pitcher, and of course, the name behind Spalding. Adolph Rupp, born on this day in 1901. You got John Thompson, born on this day in 1941, longtime Georgetown basketball coach. And finally, Louisiana Tech's own Terry Bradshaw, born on this day in 1948.
Yeah, good stuff. As far as deaths go, I just have one. It's J.R.R. Tolkien.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tolkien.
Yeah, I don't think I had any deaths written down.
Okay.
No, I did not.
As far as national days go here, we got a couple. Of course, we have VJ Day,
Uh-huh.
Spalding Baseball Day,
That's the birthday, yeah.
and Telephone Tuesday.
Telephone Tuesday?
Telephone Tuesday.
I don't know what that is. But we'll go to the telephone next.
Yes.
Because we're at 8:13 to talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Due up for a quick break, and we are overdue to get caught up on Metro Council business. Rowdy Gaudet is up next. I got to walk around. I've been sitting too long. Renee says Franz with the small sliders.
Ooh.
Renee, Father Matthew prays for one of his parishioners to win. He wants that tithe. Can you imagine what an ICC would look like? You know what he did? I guarantee you he'll put in a school. Which ICC needs. All right. Time for an unpaid endorsement. I need to go see Jenny over at Varsity. I'm way overdue for running shoes. My shoes are taking a toll on my knees.
Yeah, man, that's not good. Shoot.
Matt says, hey, if I win, my church will get a chunk. Same.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. But like super specific in its usage. $8:16, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I'll get you to Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet in just a second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. Who am I talking to here? I'm talking to anyone who has suffered from anxiety and depression or has a loved one suffering from anxiety or depression. And if you find that medication isn't the right answer here, the prescription drugs aren't working, the sit-down therapy isn't working, TMS is what they specialize in over at NeuroJust. It's transcranial magnetic stimulation. Magnetic pulses are used to stimulate areas of the brain involved in mood regulation. You know what it's like if you know somebody, or if it's you that's suffering from anxiety and depression. It is a constant, inescapable fight or flight battle, and it's exhausting. What they do at NeuroJust is they use those magnetic pulses to take the constant waves, the constant rough waters of your mind, and just calm things down a bit. And over time, the seas continue to calm. That mood regulation evens out. It's non-invasive. It's FDA approved. There are no side effects. Check them out online, neurojust.com, NEUROJUST, neurojust.com. So what's the latest on what are the nuts and bolts of the LSU Economic Development District? Joining us now to talk about it, Rowdy Gaudet. How are you, sir?
Hey, Brian, I'm doing well this morning. Happy Tuesday. That is going to feel like a Monday all day long. So
Well, I'll take it so long as, by the time we get to Friday, it's like, oh, man, this was supposed to be a Thursday.
That's right. We're already here. That's correct. That's right.
Why is it with Memorial Day you feel like you're a step behind when you get back on Tuesday, but Labor Day, it's like everything's in working order?
Because everybody went to the beach. Except me. Everybody except me was posting their wonderful pictures with their families, and I'm like, what am I doing sticking around town here?
Well, sleep until the sun's warm. That's what I was doing.
There you go.
All right, the LSU Economic Development District. Let's walk through the nuts and bolts of what it is and how it came to be.
Yeah. So it was actually legislatively created, meaning before Congressman Cleo Fields was congressman, he was Senator Cleo Fields at the state capitol, and he sponsored a measure that created two economic development districts, one around Southern University and one around Louisiana State University. And the way that bill was designed, only the businesses within the boundaries of both of those taxes would be collected within those and sunk back into infrastructure improvements. And, we hear a lot of talk, Brian, about economic development districts, EDDs, that term's thrown around. Essentially, this is a tool that was created to be able to generate tax dollars in given boundaries and then use those tax dollars to reinvest in the infrastructure of those boundaries. So, for instance, we have an economic development district around the new Amazon development. It's called the Cortana Economic Development District. And the boundaries of that district go well beyond the property of Amazon, well beyond the property that's been redeveloped that's now the Amazon facility. And the dollars generated from within that EDD make infrastructure improvements in that area with the idea that more economic development will occur because of that anchor, in that instance, Amazon. LSU said, hey, we could use one of these because there's a lot of infrastructure needs around both LSU and Southern. And those universities look for either federal dollars or are trying to partner with the local government and prioritize it. This was an ability to say, if you create one of these EDDs, tax dollars are generated, we can reinvest it back into these areas for some critical infrastructure that we need. And one last example within that LSU EDD that the council approved the collection of taxes last week, the previous president at LSU said, hey, one of the things we've been needing for the longest time is improved lighting and infrastructure around the Tigerland area. Obviously, a lot of students are populating that area. And so the ability to get that done, again, either you go ask for state dollars, you go ask for federal dollars, or you can create something like this EDD, generate some tax dollars within the district, and then say, we're going to go now invest in improved infrastructure in that area so that students can have a safer environment there.
Talk with Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet about the LSU EDD. Okay, so LSU was approved at the last Metro Council meeting. Has Southern already been approved?
We did. It was interesting. It was about 2 months ago that Southerns came to us, and we had, similar discussions, preparation, but it never achieved the amount of headlines that LSU's did. And look, certainly it's no coincidence. There's been a lot of discussion about an arena at LSU. And so those two conversations for LSU, the arena, and then, the approval by the council of this economic development district sort of played into one another. But the reality is, Brian, the economic development district that we approved at the council last week, those dollars will not be used to pay for the construction of an arena. Now, the area, the 30-acre site that's proposed right now for the arena is contained within the economic development district. And so down the road, if and when an arena is constructed, and I really hope it is, if and when an arena is constructed, there could be some arrangements that would go through a public approval process to reinvest in that arena, and the developer could recoup some costs. But at this time, currently, the EDD we approved is not to pay for the construction of an arena.
Okay, important clarification right there. But any business that would go up around the arena would fall into this.
Absolutely, yeah. And the district that was created, the way it was created is only businesses in the LSU boundaries and in the southern boundaries are what generate tax dollars. So no residences, no people that live within those district boundaries are paying additional taxes. It's now the businesses. So when you shop there and on existing businesses, when you go to those businesses, those are the tax dollars that are being captured.
Okay, and what are the tax dollars? Are we talking about the existing sales taxes, or what tax dollars go into this?
Yeah. So the economic development districts were created such that you have 1% on sales tax that is captured, and 1% of hotel occupancy taxes are captured. And those are existing taxes. Those are things we're paying currently.
Right.
They're just now going to be captured, tracked separately, and then reinvested back through LSU into some infrastructure needs.
We got Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet on with us, and I wanted to ask about that because it's an important clarification, because basically every headline out there made it sound like 1% was being added on.
That's right. But look, let me not shy away from when we talk about an arena. I've been telling folks we're at a really, really pivotal crossroads time here in East Baton Rouge Parish. We've got discussion of an arena, which is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for the capital region. We have momentum talking about breathing new life into our outdated River Center, which is a facility that's long overdue. And when we talk about competing for conventions and businesses like that with our southern peers, our facility downtown, our River Center, is vastly outdated, needs some renovations. There's a group talking about going further north to Memorial Stadium, the redevelopment of that area into a true sports destination. Look, we've got a lot of really, really critical things on the table right now in terms of transformative development. And I'm telling folks, look, I'm going to lean in, and my colleagues on the council as well. We're going to lean in on these things because this is truly a pivotal time for East Baton Rouge. And I'll throw a fourth one into the mix, more immediate, the Thrive plan that's being discussed, which is a rearrangement of existing tax dollars, and it'll be on the November ballot for folks. I throw it into that conversation because, all of these opportunities, we can't look at them separately. We've got to look at them collectively. They're very connected. And this is just a pivotal moment where we can finally say with Thrive, take some of those existing tax dollars and let's actually put them towards some infrastructure improvements, something we've been needing for a long time. Go get that LSU arena and use that as a transformative economic development tool that it's going to be. Same thing for the River Center and same thing for Memorial Stadium.
Okay, you jumped like 3 topics on me there, Rowdy.
Yeah.
Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet is our guest. Yes, we went from Economic Development District to LSU Arena to River Center to Memorial and then over to Thrive. I want to bring it back to the Economic Development District. Okay. Because I think there's going to be a little bit of an overlap here. What are the actual boundaries of this thing? Because you mentioned Tigerland on the one end, but heading up Nicholson, how close to downtown do we get where it still counts?
I guess it's challenging to describe what the boundaries are. There are defined geographic boundaries within the legislation that literally get down to the street, but it's capturing a lot of what we call Old South Baton Rouge, the areas around the lakes that are near LSU. So the boundaries are essentially some of those commercial areas that are surrounding Louisiana State University property, Nicholson Drive as well, where some of those businesses exist. And again, the intent was to capture the tax dollars from those businesses that are generated so that it can be put back towards infrastructure improvements around that area.
Right.
Look, when we start, go ahead.
Nicholson is supposed to eventually be that corridor that connects LSU back to downtown. Years and years ago, when so many different properties were bought up and leveled, that's why there's so much just flat ground on Nicholson right now. This economic development district, I feel like a lot of it would be wasted if it's not serving that purpose first and foremost.
Well, we've got Nicholson Drive as part of Move EBR to expand that into a 4-lane property all the way down to the parish line, past University Club and those neighborhoods, and then up north towards downtown. So I think all of those factor in. The properties along that area also can be developed.
Rowdy Gaudet is with us. Okay, so you mentioned some of Old South Baton Rouge as well. Expanding the footprint around campus, I think, is probably equally important around there because you do get into an area where it hadn't been the best of neighborhoods in Baton Rouge.
Well, there's been some plans in the past for how to redevelop Old South Baton Rouge. I think the most important thing is always to involve the voice of that community and what that looks like. And LSU does a good job of that. Their boundaries of their campus certainly, end at the north gates, end at the south gates, but they're a good community partner in that they recognize that it's their population, their students, who are traversing the businesses on the just north of the north gate. It's their students who are pedestrians to go to that Tigerland area. So, I'm confident as LSU starts to, they bring in a new administration, as they start to prioritize what some of these projects can look like, the voice of the community is going to be very important. And I feel that way. I know I jumped topics on you, but I feel that way for all of these projects we're talking about. The voice of the community has to be involved. It's got to be a very transparent process. And that's kind of the moniker I carry with all of these transformative projects we're talking about. But that's what I would carry as well for these economic development districts. Anytime they come about, yes, it's important to reinvest in infrastructure. What it does is brings and attracts more economic development to the areas. But the voice of the community has to be a part of that conversation. They have to be able to say what they believe are important needs within their community.
We got less than a minute to go with Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet, and I want to relay a question that Craig posted up on our Facebook live chat. Will it cost more to do business with businesses near LSU?
My answer is going to be no. I think what he's saying is, are we going to be taxed more? And so, no, we're capturing existing tax dollars.
It's a redirect of where the current tax dollars are.
That's right. That's right. Now, in the future, when that area, let's say 4 or 5 years from now, we're talking and there's an arena built, and what I believe will happen is you'll start to see more economic development occur because of that anchor institution. If that arena is built, my hope and prayer is you'll see a hotel gain interest there. You'll see some restaurants gain interest there. You'll see some other businesses gain interest there. There may be discussion of expanding what that looks like. Expanding, can we add a penny sales tax within that district and do even more? So that, again, I'm speculating down the road, but
Right.
What I could anticipate is you put in, I'm going to go back to the Cortana Economic Development District. You put in an anchor like an Amazon, you're going to start to see, there's the Starbucks going up. There's the Rouse's open up. There's a new development a new neighborhood rather popping up. So I think you're going to start to see that same thing around that Nicholson corridor in this site we're talking about for a proposed arena.
He is Metro Councilman Rowdy Gaudet. We greatly appreciate the time. We'll pick up the conversation soon, man.
Okay. Thanks,
All
Brian.
right,
Appreciate the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't get to everything right there, but we just ran out of time. We're late for news. It's a minimum of an hour-long conversation. Craig says he used the word additional taxes earlier. which is why I asked for clarification, because I thought I heard that too. I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to it, but I thought that was part of the whole equation here was, there was going to be an additional 1% sales tax. But that's, to which he answered yes and no. I tell you one thing I'm curious about though, is taking 1% of that hotel motel tax and kicking it back. I don't like opening that Pandora's box at all, y'all. If it's part of the overall trade-off, this is still a win. I get it. I'll take it. But, like, Visit Baton Rouge. If they don't hunt, they don't eat. And hotel motel tax is their lifeblood. So, like, if Visit Baton Rouge is out there hunting for new business, and a hotel is built within this district, right? Let's say a new hotel goes up, all right? And Visit Baton Rouge is bringing something to the River Center, and the hotel motel tax is paid there or Lod Cook or wherever. 1% of that is going to go to somebody opening a TGI Fridays next to the arena, and I don't like that. Either way, Craig, I appreciate you asking the question because I was trying to figure out how to word the damn thing. And once I saw your post, I got it. So thank you. Oh, shit. What the hell was with the Brian Kelly audio? What, did he hold his post-game press conference at a local bowling alley? We caught up with Brian Kelly, who was at the bar at Bennigan's. You need Rodney's number. Yeah. .836 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Before we get to Rodney Mallet with DOTD, got to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. Founded in 1897, y'all. That's a long time ago. A long time ago. They were founded as a community bank way back when. And today, they've grown from a community bank to, get this, a community bank. Can you imagine sticking to your mission for that long? In 2025, they remain a community bank. Few more branches these days. They're in a few more communities, but each branch, each location serves the community that they're in. And this is important. This is important because when you have a community bank, you don't just have a bank, you have a banker. You have someone who you have a relationship with, someone who can help you walk through the process of borrowing money to purchase a home, borrowing money to buy whatever the big purchase is. They can help you along that route. If you want to invest your money, looking forward towards retirement or whatnot, they can help you on that route. If you're a business owner or want to become a business owner, want to take that entrepreneurial leap, they've got you covered. Personal banking, business banking. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. All right, time to check in with Rodney Mallet from DOTD. Saw the headline, I guess it was going into the weekend. I was somewhere around Thursday or so. Headline read, crews begin pouring concrete for bridge deck for new City Park Lake Bridge as part of I-10 widening. I was like, well, you know what? It's about time for an update. Let's get Rodney Mallet on with us. Rodney, how are you, man?
Things are going great. How you doing?
Doing very well on this end. So bring me up to speed on what's going on around the City Park Lake.
Well, they did. That is correct. What you saw is correct. They had the first concrete pour in the end of August. We have another one coming up this week, and then two more after that. So they're making great progress on that bridge. And then once that is completed, the next phase is for construction to begin on the westbound flyover and a crossover at that location. So, if you're paying attention, you'll see the concrete pour. They do that at night to minimize any kind of impacts to the traveling public. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to continue to work on drainage. That's a big part of the project over there. And then they're going to do the connections at the City Park Lake Bridge, and that's going to start in October. So you will continue to see work on that very important project.
So it's just about here.
It is. That does not mean it's going to be open to the traveling public yet.
No. I mean, the headaches are just about here. Like the growing pains are just about here, where we're going to start to see. There will inevitably, as the I-10 widening project continues, this is when we're going to start to see, a couple of barrels out there, or what's the extent of the commute changes?
Well, this is about a year ago when we made the commitment to minimize all of the lane closures that we could have and it did extend the length of the project. Mm-hmm. If we would have had the lane closures, we would have been able to get finished quicker. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We had the public meetings. We listened to the public outcry. We listened to the callers on your radio show and on your Facebook, and the majority of the folks would rather have the extended time and not have the congestion for a year or so. So mm-hmm. those lane closures are switching from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. All of that has been minimized, and I believe what we're going to do is keep the same number of lanes open in each direction throughout the construction. So there's always going to be people who will slow down in the work zone, and that is fine. That's what we want folks to do. Mm-hmm. So you will have congestion, but it's not going to be to the extent of what we had discussed about 2 years ago.
Okay, so there's no point of inevitability where it's going to get knocked down even more. We'll be able to continue the commute as is throughout the project.
There will be lane shifts. Okay. Certainly, and during the construction time, there will be lane closures. Like Thursday night, there's a scheduled closure from 7 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning to do that concrete pour. But no, for the long-term extent of the project to have, 2 lanes instead of 3, that is not something that is in the works any longer.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. We're talking with Rodney Mallet from DOTD about the I-10 widening project. Visibly speaking, I mean, we're getting to the point now where you can put eyes on it and see the difference, or see what the difference is going to be. October, you said it ramps up. Are we still on pace for when the project was supposed to, wrap?
Well, we had told everyone that 2031 was when the project was going to be completed after we had to make the change from, the lane closures back to trying to keep all the lanes open throughout the whole project. And as it stands right now, excuse me, man,
You're good.
2031 is still an attainable date.
Okay.
Lots of things can happen, just like with the College Drive project. We didn't anticipate a global pandemic or supply chain issues, or remember that summer we had 10 hurricanes. So, while we talk about 2031 as attainable, that's if everything goes right. We don't have circumstances beyond our control.
Understandable completely. We're talking with Rodney Mallet from DOTD. Actually, while we're getting an update, let's pivot over there as well. Early feedback on the College Drive flyover, Rodney. I texted you this, so I want to be clear. Is it too early to call this an unmitigated success?
We do not have the data. What we do, I'm a liberal arts major, but what the engineer folks do is they gather 3 years of data and then compare it to the previous 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we have received comments from people who travel that area all the time. We travel that area all the time, and there is no doubt. I've not heard anybody say there's not a difference. And then I wanted to hold off, pat myself on the back too much until LSU started school. And so it will back up to the split, but once it moves, it funnels a lot better than it used to. And there's no doubt there has to be fewer crashes in that area just because you don't have the weaving movement that we had for so long.
Right.
So, I from what I've heard and from what I've seen, it is working exactly like we had anticipated. And it stops that weaving motion. It gets people to commit to going downtown. So you're going that way. And so that's going to really help congestion a lot.
As far as the if you're coming off 10, the way it weaves together is beautiful. If you're coming off 12, the only real I don't know if you want to call it a snafu or whatever, but the only real thing is you got to commit to College Drive early. But that's a mistake you don't make twice.
Yeah, that's true. And we give folks information for safe travels, and the signs are there that tell you this is College Drive exit coming up. So and having that long queue to get to College Drive really helps a lot too, because you're not having those cars back up onto the interstate, which is that's a safety hazard right there, because you're looking at the possibility of a high-speed rear-end crash. But with that long queue, you take that out of the work.
Yeah, completely. Because it is a long queue to be sure. And let's not forget about the changes made at the end of that route as well, as it's now 4 lanes funneled out to get to College Drive in both directions, and the direct lane for Corporate Boulevard.
I totally agree with you on that. That direct lane to Corporate Boulevard causes. We've had a couple of complaints from the people who are coming down College Drive, not from the interstate, who want to get over to that section of Corporate. But, there is a turn lane there, and what we're trying to do is what we've talked about, funnel that interstate traffic to get them to go where they're going, so you don't have the backups there at the ramp. And so people who are going to Corporate, it flows very well. And that leaves the lanes open for the other people who want to turn left on College Drive or want to turn right to go down toward Webb.
Yes, and the only snag I've seen there has been those who get off on the Corporate only lane and then decide way too late that, oh, no, I wanted to go the other way.
I know, and what people need to understand is that's a safety hazard. Just like if you miss your exit, I see this happen a lot. People will miss their exit and then try to shoot across 3 lanes of traffic to get over to the exit they just missed, when the safer thing for everybody to do is go ahead. You've committed to go to Corporate, right?
Right.
Now you're like, oh, man, I wanted to go to Webb. Just go up Corporate and turn around and come back. Find a nice, safe place to turn around and come back, and don't try to shoot across that traffic like that. People need to pay attention to what they're doing and also be aware that there are other drivers out there.
No, absolutely. And you don't have to go that far up Corporate to, either make a safe U-turn or make a left and a left. I mean, if you make a left on the Energy, then you'll make another left that spits you back out on College just 2 blocks later. It's not that much of an inconvenience.
I know, and these days with all the travel apps that we have, the Waze, the Google Maps, 511la.org, it can help you get to where you need to go in a safe way.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it a step further, Rodney. Is you can make the U-turn before your app will reroute you. That's how quick it is. So
you're exactly right. Well, it sounds like somebody. You sound like somebody who's done this before.
I may have made the mistake of getting into Corporate Boulevard lane when I meant to get on the College Drive North lane, and yeah, I went ahead, bit the bullet, went and made my left and a left, and got right back on track without losing a minute's time.
Proud of you, man.
Thank you. Next, let's teach people how to drive a roundabout.
Hey, the roundabouts have worked out great. What's so funny, if you got a minute, when we first started putting the roundabouts in Livingston Parish, the uproar was pretty loud. People did not like them, but they have seen how they work. That even the ones at 447, the traffic doesn't back up to the interstate like it used to. Same with the one in Eden Church. And even though the Juven Road project is still ongoing, I know it's been a long time, the roundabout has helped traffic in that area. So we had a public meeting last week in Livingston Parish about the possibility of putting in another roundabout at a location out there. And the outcry was that we hadn't done it yet. The people have actually, throughout the state, seen how the roundabouts help traffic and increase safety at these intersections. And now we have people all around the state wanting roundabouts. And, it really is, it saves a lot of time with the congestion and also with the safety factors.
No, absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of the roundabout. The only thing I want is a giant sign inside of the roundabout that says, "Don't stop, don't brake" in the expletive circle. And I want the expletive included in the sign. It's once you're in the circle, don't brake.
I don't think that meets federal standards, but I do agree that people need to understand the difference between yield and stop. So, but you're right. But still, people are trying to be polite and letting people in once they get in the roundabout, and you don't need to do that because the whole point of the roundabout is to not stop.
Exactly.
You yield, you keep rolling.
Yeah.
But I think people are catching on.
It's a learning curve. In the meanwhile, we always appreciate the update. He's Rodney Mallet from DOTD. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you, Brian. Take care.
You do the same. We are coming up on 850 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We are going to check your money now. We are going to take another look at traffic, and then we'll come back with the outside in after this. Don't forget, the Louisiana Business Weekly podcast is your source for, we say the latest in the Louisiana business landscape. Honestly, this is more about storytelling by business leaders. I'm the host, but it's not my show. It is presented by Currency Bank. Of course, the Bank for Business is bringing you the podcast for business. We dive into trends and stories, but we dive into wins and losses, victories and failures, the things that people have overcome in order to build what they've created. And it's available on all your favorite platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You can also catch every episode over on our website, talk1073.com. It's Louisiana Business Weekly. All right, we're at 850 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We are going to step outside of the listening area for the outside in when we come back. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, do you have any Brian Kelly cuts in there from earlier? Okay. I want to make fun of. I freaking hate everything about Clemson this morning. Fuck your post-game presser. He's.
We won, Brian. We won.
I know,
We
but
won.
everything about them sucks out loud.
I know.
Like.
Fired up.
That's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
The gas man. How did they know I had?
How did they know I had gas? Didn't think I'd catch that one, did you?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Can't sneak anything by me.
Jeez, I know. Man. Did you ever watch the sequels? Well, the only one that matters, I think, is Dumb and Dumber 2 when they come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's kind of.
Dude, seeing Duff, I had a thing for Duff growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Big crush on Duff.
Mm.
What was I looking up? Oh.
I'm sure it wasn't Duff.
Yeah.
Drive server or get pulled over.
Hmm?
Pull over.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
Yeah, thanks for noticing.
That cop or state trooper is played by Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
Who I encourage you to go back and watch There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
He's the hitchhiker that Ben Stiller picked up.
Oh.
That had his solution to beat 8-minute abs with 7-minute abs.
Oh, man.
Absolutely brilliant comedian.
Sipping on Grandpa's cough syrup, are you?
Give me that booze, you pumpkin pie haircutted freak.
I need to rewatch that movie. Oh, my goodness. Are we going back to those Kelly cuts or no?
Oh, we did one of them just to make fun of it and then get out. Okay. And I'm going to do the Bucky's cuts.
Okay.
I got my live for 5-star right here, which I don't care where they are in the log tomorrow. I'm doing them in the 6 o'clock hour.
Okay.
8:56 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got a lot to get to before we get out of here. Before we dive right in, is your business looking to get noticed? How noticeable is your business? Seriously, take a look around. Where's your name? Where's your logo? How up to date is it? Need help with anything like a custom decal, maybe banners that have a specific message, yard signs pushing out a specific message, vehicle wraps, political season's here. Maybe you need yard signs for that. Oh, by the way, what if putting all these things together with your printed materials, your paper printed materials as well, can be handled under one roof? It can be. That's 5-Star Printing and Signs. 5-Star Printing and Signs. My guy Danny and his team do a phenomenal job, especially around this time of year. I love telling you about 5-Star around political time because kind of his wheelhouse. Kind of his wheelhouse. Now, broaden things out. If you want to visit printshop5.com, please do. Branding is more important now than ever. That's why I tell you about the vehicle wraps. But putting your logo on merch is unbelievably important as well. Being front and center, being top of mind, getting that reminder. Look, I know we like to look for as many closed loops as possible when it comes to marketing, but the branding aspect of this is unbelievably vital. Phone number, 271-4096, 271-4096, or check them out online at printshop5.com. Get you to the outside in, and I tell you what, let's do this in order and be responsible about it. What is taking so long to get us a Busey's? The Lafayette Buc-ee's. I know I said Busey's. It's a TikTok thing. The Lafayette Buc-ee's is experiencing delays, and now the one up in Ruston is being pushed back to early 2027. I heard this on our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. They say Mayor Ronnie Walker, he's not concerned.
In the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like it's a big deal. I know it's a big deal because everybody wants Buc-ee's to be here sooner than later, and we especially want that.
And you should look to start to see the dirt turning over probably this month.
It takes 15 months to build them, so it's going to push us to probably January of 27, which we're fine with.
All right. Well, Lafayette or Ruston, which one's going to be able to say they're the first Buc-ee's out there? Walker says not that it matters, but he thinks he's still got the lead here.
We really think we might, but, it doesn't matter. We're not in a race. We just know that it's going to be another tremendous win for the city and for the parish. And, again, I say the entire North Louisiana because I promise you people will be driving from 40 or 50 miles away to work.
No doubt. No doubt. But it is a race. It is a competition. Everything is. Hey, JP, do we have time to revisit Coach Kelly after the game on Saturday?
Of course. Yeah, we got about 35 seconds.
I tell you what, why don't you talk about the win over Clemson and just in general?
Okay.
I'm so pleased for our players. They've worked so hard. Our staff, they made the plays today. And you go on the road and
all right,
and
that's
play
enough. Was Brian Kelly doing his post-game press conference from a local bowling alley? Everything about the Clemson experience was stupid. Driving from the stadium to the stadium in the bus, just, hey, we're going to go around the corner, guys. To the Temu Tiger, which I think looks like a wax figurine that was left in a hot window. To the cannon that is like the noisy cricket from Men in Black. Oh, we got to get out of here. See you tomorrow.
Oh, man.
All right, Facebook, we got Monday morning meeting. I'll see y'all.